everybody, welcome to my channel. For today we will do the first part of our simple 3 meter by 3 meter house. I hope you can learn from this video. Thank you. Now let's start. First we draw the floor. Okay, you can go here under create panel, then geometry, next to it is shapes. Okay, click on shapes and then click rectangle. Go to the top view plan and then just click and drag any size of rectangle. Then we will change the size over here. Scroll down until you find parameters and then change the length to 3000 and the width to 3000. Okay, now you can press enter. If you see that the rectangle is no longer in our viewport because it's bigger than our viewport, what you can do is zoom extend. You can go down here, zoom extend all selected, click on that. Okay, and you have, now we can see the rectangle as the floor. Okay, now we can change the properties of the rectangle. First we change the you go to a modifier. Okay, modify, next to the create, and then straight away change the name floor to floor. You can change the color over here as well by clicking on the color. Okay, then to see everything clearer, we can extrude. So for extrude, you can go to create panel, geometry. Okay, sorry, you go to modify. Okay, modify, and then under the name of the object, you can see there's a modifier list there. Click on the modifier list and then find extrude over here. Okay, now that you can see the floor is extruded, but you have to enter the amount on the parameters here. So for now we will enter -150 for the parameters. Okay, now we have the floor. After that we will straight away do the columns. Okay, for columns you can do the same thing to rectangle. Okay, go to create panel and then go to shapes and draw a rectangle anywhere on the screen. Okay, any size, then change the size. Scroll down, change the size to 150 and the width 150. Enter. Okay, now you see that we have our rectangle over here. Still the same, change the name to column. Okay, then you can to move this view, you can click the scroll button. Okay, the scroll button is used for you to zoom in and out, and also to pan when you click the scroll button and move. Okay, now we want to move this column to from this endpoint to that endpoint. Okay, you can go over here, snap toggle. Okay, click on the snap toggle, make sure you have the 2.5 snap toggle. Okay, then you can go to select and move. Okay, when you move, then you see the rectangle, it will snap to the endpoint. Okay, move it and click and drag to the endpoint there where we want it to be. Okay, before we copy this rectangle, this column, what we can do is we can extrude them now. For extrude, go to the modify panel, under the modifier list, and extrude. Okay, key in the amount to be 3000. Okay, still it goes out from our view, and you can go to zoom extend all selected, and it will zoom in to our view. Okay, to change viewport, what you can do is you can click on let's say I want to change the perspective viewport. You can click the scroll button, and it won't change anything. Then use the scroll button to move up and down, and then the scroll button is also used to zoom in and out on your objects. Okay, to then make sure you turn off your snap toggle. Okay, now this is your column. Okay, what we can do is, if it is if you cannot see clearly because of the grid, you can turn off the grid by right clicking on this plus button on the top view, and then turn off the show grids. Okay, you can when you want to work on this plan, you can maximize this viewport by going here, maximize viewport toggle, click on it, and it will be maximized, so it is easier for you to work. Now we can copy this column. So we want to copy from this endpoint to this endpoint. Okay, make sure you have selected select and move, and then use the snap toggle, 2.5 snap toggle, and then you have to lock your return, lock your selection. Once the selection is locked, you can move to this endpoint, because you want to move this to here. Okay, hold shift and click that endpoint, release shift and release to the new endpoint. Okay, you can, for this clone options, what you can do is you can select instance. Why? Because when we want to change one column, the other column that is on instance to that column will follow the changes that you have on this column. Okay, you can click OK. Now you have two columns. Then we want to copy these two columns down here. So what you can do is you can use window selection like this. Okay, then you can hold shift, go to the endpoint of that endpoint and then release to this endpoint. Make sure you are on instance again. Okay, click OK. Okay, now you can view your objects in 3D. Toggle back to the viewport. Okay, you can use this orbit button to orbit your view. Okay, click on this orbit button so that you can orbit your view. When you want to click for orbit, you click inside this circle. Okay, now we've got the 4 columns here. Okay, what we can do now is we can do the beam. We do one beam and then we copy for the rest. Okay, we can start to draw on the top viewport. Maximize so that it is easier for us to work. Then go to create. Again, go to rectangle under shapes. So for these beams, we can just start to draw from this endpoint to that endpoint. Click and drag over here. Make sure you have the snap toggle on 2.5. Okay, then extrude. Go to modify layers, extrude. Okay, for the beams, put 450. We consider all this dimension as in millimeter. Okay, once we have extruded, you can see your beam over here. Okay, we have to bring up this beam so that it will be right at the top of this panel. So the best thing to bring it up is to use select and move. Okay, then you right click on that button, select and move button. Okay, you can see here offset screen. You can either use the or absolute world. So if you use absolute world, you can see that the Z point is at 0.0, which is this point. Okay, so we want to move it up by 3 meter, but minus the thickness of this, then it will be 2550. Okay, so 2550, enter. Okay, now you can see that your beams are exactly at the top of the column. Okay, now we can copy. You can maximize so that we can work easier. Then you can copy them. Okay, first thing you can do is you can copy from this endpoint to that endpoint. Okay, again, make sure you lock, then hold shift and copy. Okay, use instance. Okay, for these two, now we've got 2 beams. For the other 2 beams, what we can do is we can select both of them. Okay, you can use select object, select one and then hold shift, select the other one, and then you can rotate. Okay, use select and rotate, click select and rotate, but then you make sure that you have your angle snap toggle on. Okay, once it is on, move your mouse to this circle, the yellow circle, hold shift again and start to rotate. Okay, sorry, use the outer circle. Then you can you can uh, start to rotate, and make sure you have the position at 90 degrees Z. Then release. Use instance. Okay, now you can see this is our 3D column with the floor and the beam. Okay, now the floor, we want to change the floor so that we can have apron that is extended from the floor, so that we can have an apron of this building. Okay, now you can go to select object, select the we can also work in 3D. Maximize your view. Okay, first we copy. So if you want to copy without moving your object, you can just go to edit, make sure the object is selected, and then clone. Okay, in this case we are using copy because we don't want the one that we copy to follow the original item. Change the name straight away here, apron. Click OK. And then first we have to move it down. Select and move. Right click. And then on the Z absolute wall, -150. So that will be -150 lower than the previous one. Okay, then what you can do is straight away you go to the modify panel over here. Under the extrude, you can say you click on the rectangle. Okay, under rectangle you have to change the length and the width. So when we add another 900 apron, that means on both sides is 1800. So you must add 1800 to 3000. That means now we have 4800. Okay, make sure you have it both length and width, 4800. Okay, to differentiate your apron and your floor, you can always change the color. So maybe we can use white. Okay, now we can see them clearly. Okay, then now is about for the roof. Okay, we will start to draw the roof rafters first. Okay, you can also draw from elevation, right? From the front elevation. So I don't want the grid, I can turn it off. Click on here, should turn off the grid, maximize. Okay, now you can start to draw the rafters by using create shapes, rectangle. Okay, then change the parameters. The length is the width of the rafter, so we use 125, and the width maybe for now we estimate to be 4000. Okay, we're gonna have to do some amendments on these rafters later. Okay, now turn off your toggle mode. Okay, first we rotate this rafter so that it will follow the pitch for the roof pitch that you want. Okay, we turn on angle snap toggle. So for now I want this rafters to be at 35 degree. So I rotate, and then look at the okay, when you rotate, you look at the parameters down here. Okay, so I rotate up until 35 degrees, negative 35 there. Okay, then release. Then move your rafter to exact, to roughly where you want it to be, which is somewhere around here. Okay, overlap the rafters a bit, and then make sure that the top of the rafters exceeds halfway of your beam here. Okay, then we will create a rectangle from the midpoint. Turn on your snap toggle from this midpoint to any point over here. Okay, so that we know this is our point, center point. So when you create this, you are creating it from the midpoint of the beam. Okay, then create another rectangle which is for the overhang of the roof rafters. You can just click and drag from here, because the roof rafters will be the same end as your apron. Okay, then select both of these objects and extrude. Okay, to see things clearer, you can go here, change the view. Okay, you can extrude these two boxes, extrude them to be roughly around 400. Okay, then extrude your rafter. This rafter can be extruded because the thickness of a standard rafter, wood rafter, hardwood rafter, should be at 50 mm. Okay, then maybe you can change the color to something similar to wood. Okay, okay, now you have to make sure that these two boxes overlap with the rafter, so that we can subtract these two ends. Okay, to do that, you can just select and move, select one, shift, hold shift, select, hold alternate, sorry. Okay, again select one of the object, then hold control. Okay, and make sure you turn off these two snaps. Okay, zoom in, and then you can select on your where you want it to where do you want to move it. Okay, for now we want to move it at Y axis, so you can move your mouse until the Y axis turn yellow, and then you can just click and then move it in. Just rough estimation so that the rafter and the two boxes overlap. Okay, now you can subtract. So what we can do, what we are doing now is to actually we select the rafter, and you go to create panel, geometry. Okay, under standard primitive here, scroll down to compound objects. Okay, under here you can either use boolean or pro boolean, so I will use pro boolean for now. Okay, under pro boolean, what you can do is make sure you have move on this option over here, and then you can start picking. So you pick one of this of the box and then one of the other box. You see that it is now has subtracted the overlapping point of the rafter. Okay, this is the rafter that we want. So now we can work on copying this. Okay, now you can go to the front viewport, maximize them. You can use mirror. Okay, here mirror. So you click on the mirror button. First of all, make sure you are on the front viewport and then select instance. Okay, before you adjust your mirror axis, you click instance so that you can see where the new mirror object is. Okay, now it looks correct. Okay, you click OK. Okay, now you can move this object either to here, or you can also move from endpoint to endpoint. So turn on, snap, endpoint to endpoint. Now it is exactly the same. You can check on your plan top viewport, see is connected. Okay, then what you can do is you can select both of these rafters and then group them. Give the name rafter. Okay, turn off your snap button, maximize this. And then move it on Y direction to the end. Okay, now we want to copy these rafters to at roughly 600 mm apart up until the end of this beam. Okay, now we will copy these rafters since we have grouped them together. We can just go to edit, clone, and instance. Click OK. Okay, now move, right click on the select and move button. Okay, now you can see the object offset screen. Okay, we are moving it at Y direction. So for now, you can move this as 600. Okay, we got our new rafters there. Do it again. Clone. Y 600. Okay. Then maybe you can hold shift and move on Y direction on one of the rafters and then release it to the center of the column. Instance. Okay, now do the same thing. Edit, clone. Right click, offset screen to negative 600 now. Now we are moving negative direction of that Y coordinate. Okay, now again negative 600. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Now we see that this two rafters in the middle is quite close to each other. So maybe we want to move these two up and these two down. Okay, maybe we can start with these two. Select using window selection both of it. So I estimate this to move by y direction maybe at around 75 y 75. Okay, then select just one of these and move another 75. um, okay, looks like it's going to be too much, so what we can do is we can just undo. Okay, we move by only 50 or maybe 40. Okay, then again select one, that one, 40. Okay, then this other two. So in this case we move negative 40, enter, negative 40, enter. Okay, I think this distance is acceptable. Okay, now we can go to our 3D view and see. Okay, you can use the scroll button to actually zoom in and out, and then use the orbit button to actually rotate your view. Okay, this is how your building will look like. I will continue the next video on the next progress of the roof until we finish rendering. Please subscribe, like and share. Leave a comment if you want to ask anything. Thank you. See you in the next video.